Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. Welcome to the first video of 2023. I hope that everybody had a great time off and visit with family and friends, got to work on their hot rods or projects or whatever. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to do this week. We're going to, as I said in the last video, our intention here is to put a video out every week. So we'll begin with what we plan to do. We'll do our best to make it all the way through those things. But as you know, things go better to plan and things go against the plan, so things change. So I'm going to talk about what I'm planning to do this week. What you can see here is a frame for a roof. This frame is not ours. A friend of ours at Gaudet's Hot Rods, they make these. They made them for their 32 Ford. They brought this over because one of the other things I do, I've got a full wood shop and I make a lot of things out of wood. So this frame, I've got it sitting here. So what it ultimately is going to look like, issue of Rodder's Journal. So ultimately that roof is going to look something like this. What I've been asked to do, and I've done this actually before, is make the wooden header piece here that goes across the front. So in this episode, I may take you in the wood shop. At the minimum, I'm going to make this piece for Gaudet's Hot Rods. And it attaches basically across the front where we see this piece of wood right now, and then this metal bracket would fit onto a 32 Ford windshield. So that's the first thing we're going to do this week. The next thing I plan to work on is the 32 Ford B-Pillar, which I still have yet to straighten out. Had a couple suggestions on how to straighten it out, either with come-alongs or hydraulics. I may even just pie cut it and then bend it out where I think it's buckled. Probably have to pie cut it here to bend it this way, then make a little cut on the inside to bend it out. But one way or the other, the plan is to straighten the B-Pillar out, because the B-Pillars are all fastened in there nice and good now. Got a decent good shape to it. I also plan to work on Ryan's cab here. He asked me, as I mentioned before, this is a rat rod pickup truck. They chopped it themselves. They took it to someone else in another shop and they helped them fix it up. All Ryan wants me to do is basically clean the welds up and weld in between all the welds. Not make it look pretty, but I'm just helping him along with this project. So that's got to be done this week as well. Yeah, you can see there's lots of gaps here. I am not going to fill those gaps with coat hangers. Clean this up and we're going to fill it properly and make at least the welds watertight. If I get any further with the 32 Ford Coupe here, over on this side, what we're going to start with, once the B-Pillars are in, what I did with the Moncton Coupe, once I got to the B-Pillar point, what I then did was I have to straighten this panel out. I'm choosing this side because this fender well is actually the better of the two. That one's going to be more challenging. It's going to be in another episode because the fender lip is pretty much screwed. On this one, it looks as though I'm going to be able to cut the fender lip here in the right spot in order to splice in this replacement fender well. If that's the case and it's successful, I'll be able to tie this in and then get the right shape. Once that's in, this side actually strengthens up. Once that's done and straightened up and tightened in there, then I can start working on the quarter panel here and even the corner over here. If you take a look on the inside of the Moncton Coupe, you can see where I did the exact same thing with what I'm proposing with the passenger side here. You can see the line where I cut it. I was able to weld in the fender well to the existing quarter panel and it's tied in. That's the plan. Hopefully we can execute on all that stuff or get as far as long as we can, but follow along and watch as we go throughout the week of the first episode of 2023 for Coldstream Rod Shop. So here's the B-Pillar correction. I struggle with a number of different ways of how to fix it, whether I pie cut it and just bent it or come along or whatever. Ultimately, I messed around all day here and came up with this brace system where I've got a plate in the top here and a bolt going across so that when we put pressure here, the bolt doesn't dig into sheet metal, it distributes the weight. It's just 1x1 steel tubing and a bottle jack. What I did before I started, I took a measurement from this point, like from there to here, and I knew I had to come out about 1/4 of an inch or so. So basically applied pressure on the jack, took it all off, checked it, kept going, and basically inched my way about 1/16 of an inch at a time. You have to overbend it, but then it springs back. So it took about 4 attempts, maybe 5 attempts to finally get it to where it is. So right now I'm at the stage of basically taking this off for the last time. I had a plate. I also had a metal plate there to distribute the weight against the wood. A little bit of banging and cracking when it came undone. But essentially we're trying to put the B-Pillar back to where it should be. I'll probably use this for something else, but for now, it's my B-Pillar straightening jig. The door, if it didn't bounce back, there. So basically, I have my alignment there that I'm looking for. I still have it on the bottom. I have it here. So B-Pillar is now straightened, and we go on to the next part. We have 2 more things done on the agenda for this week's episode. I have Ryan's cab finished, welded the way that he wanted it. The intention was not to do like a weld and grind it flat like I normally would do with another vehicle. What Ryan wanted done was all the welding finished, leave the welds proud, and then basically just grind the tops off of them. What he's planning on doing is they're clear coating it and leaving it a rat rod look. But that was the project for this anyways. I'm just giving him a hand, so he's going to come pick that up, I think in the next couple days, and off it goes. Over on the Roadster top, like I said at the beginning of the video, we were going to make this wooden piece to go across the front for the Gaudet's hot rod shop, and we now have it done, so I think probably easier to come around the other way there. When the Gaudets put this together, they basically just put it on a 1x3 piece of wood. And then I've done this before for them. It's just basically a piece of 2-inch or 1.5 inch thick oak. And then there's a 3/4 inch strip across the top. There's grooves into it here that allow for the seam when the top is sewn together. So this now, I think, I'm not sure, they may want me to put a clear coat on this, or maybe not, we'll find out. But it's done, and the top is actually gonna go off to the upholsterer, which will be Nobles Upholstery, if I believe that's who they took it to the last time. So that's it for these two pieces, and then now we're off to working back on the 5-window coupe. Next up on the 5-window coupe, I'm going to work on doing the fender wells on each side. This week's episode only have enough time to basically put one of them in. So essentially I have the reproduction wheel well to put in. These are purchased. I'm not going to try and make them. I don't have the equipment or the fine skills yet to make one of these. Hopefully at some point in time I will. But I've used these reproduction ones before, and they go in quite well. It's one of the few aftermarket pieces I'm happy with. So right now I'm in the process. I'm going to have to mark this and then time it so that it comes in the right way, and then I will weld it. Probably will start the stop motion camera and show you as I do it. is the inner fender well welded in. It's all tacked in place about every 1/4 inch or so. As you can see in the time-lapse video, I use these little clamps. I like to use them quite a bit. You can put them in upside down, right side up. Basically, it allows you to match the two pieces as evenly as possible. Some of the parent metal is still not that great, so I'm going to have to put a couple patches in here at some point. We're still trying to maximize the 32 Ford metal in this, so in some cases I'm going to try in my utmost to repair the metal, and when I absolutely have to, you know, when I just can't weld up the old stuff, I will put a patch in. So this is welded all the way along. It's welded to the subframe. If you can take a look from the inside over here, you can see how the welds, some of the welds were from the inside and the outside. I am more than likely going to finish welded on the inside, and I'm probably going to go on the outside just because some of the parent metal is not that great, and I fix any blowholes that whatever I can fix on the original metal. I'll finish that up in the next episode. That weld will show you, and then we'll start working on this side. This side is a lot more challenging because it's in rougher shape. If you can see on the inside here, I'm not sure if the camera lady can show it or not, the actual fender lip is gone as well. You can see light through it. So not sure the strategy on this one, but we're going to cover that on the next episode. So hopefully you liked this episode. Please send your comments. Please like and subscribe. And looking forward to doing more videos in 2023. Everybody take care.